music is fire. It's me, Ice the Man, with always here with me every single week, every single day. You name it, he's the commish. Texas James Smith.
Yay! Back again, man. Ready to get season 7 started. Right around the corner, man. Bid and Sunday, man. Hope everybody ready. Let's have a good show tonight.
Yeah, we also have with us a special guest, a new owner this season, which I'm excited to talk a little bit and get his opinions and moving forward. Oh, Lewis, you there, brother?
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for showing up to the best media show around. I mean, EBA Tonight, back with the Weekend Review, live every single week, episodic show. This is episode 1 of season 7, so I'm excited to start talking about next season and put this last season behind us. So let's jump right into everything here. We have the NBA 2K17 Season 17 draft is where we start. Now, for those of you who don't know, they pick the owners, and we'll go over each individual owner and discuss that as we go. But they pick the staff sits around and pulls names out of hats. I'm kidding. They actually interview every single owner and pick the right ones that they feel are the best ones to do the job. This season, I would say there were little slim pickings. I mean, what do you think? You agree with that?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say slim. I think it started slim, and then when they saw Miz come back as a turnover, which is, if none of y'all know, the season 6 champions. When they saw Miz come back as owner, the ownership started flooding in, and I think it was just really mainly guys wanting to step up and help the league, and that is very appreciative. So early on it was a little slim, but it got better as the offseason progressed.
Yeah, I mean, I like the owners that you pick. There's only a couple that are questionable in there, and when I get to them, I'll let you know. But other than that, Season 17 draft, what happens is pulled out, first pick to last pick. We're going to go over every single pick. The first pick, there was a few trades in here, and we'll talk about that as we go, but the first pick actually went to Eastern, and King John as his GM was traded to Z actually at the 9th pick. So that was the first big thing right away. And the team that they picked was the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the first pick of the team draft went to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, Lewis, you're down there at third pick, but I mean, looking, if you had the number 1 pick, and of course the Golden State is off the books due to the league decided to ban them, or the owners and staff decided to ban them. What would be your number 1 pick? Is it Cleveland?
Yeah, you got to go with Cleveland. I mean, you got King James and you got Kyrie, and those two right there will always get you far. And then you add your shooters and some rebounding with Tristan. You're always in a good place with them.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland to me probably is up there. I think Clippers are strong from last season beating Golden State. I think with their big men and the way that they're laid out right now, I think Clippers are a big pick for me at 1, or a strong pick, because only, and I've heard this said a few times, I don't think people know how to play with LeBron James. And LeBron James, I think he's a 96 overall, and he's a solid. I mean, he's a great player, but people try to push the paint with him and play big with him when really you could take good mid-range with him. He can dominate he has to have the ball in his hands, I think, and can make everybody around him better. You having that struggle last year with the Cleveland Cavaliers, do you think the number 1 pick is a solid Cleveland, or do you think you'd go with somebody else, Texas?
I don't see. I mean, if you get number 1, I don't see why if you actually have the number 1 pick and you don't have the option to trade it, there's no reason not to take Cleveland. I mean, Lewis said it best. I mean, you got King James, you got Kyrie, you got good perimeter shooters on the outside, and you got a perimeter shooter at the 4, which is key in my opinion in this 2K to be able to spread the floor, and let your big man work. You're a little short at the 5 spot, but honestly, I don't see how there's any way you can pass them up at the 1. Like you said, maybe Clippers, but I think it's heavily favored toward Cleveland.
Well, and Z actually wanted him. I mean, he was number 9 pick. He went after Eastern and said, "Give me the first pick," because I believe he's a Cleveland fan. So he wanted the Cavaliers at that number 1. 14 mil in salary. Tell me, Lewis, with 14 mil, do you feel, and I know you played on a team that was a later pick last season, but do you feel with 14 million you can build a solid team with the Cleveland even at 14 mil? I mean, they struggled last year, I believe, and you guys had 14 mil if I'm correct, but they struggled last year at the second pick of putting together a solid team at 14 mil. Do you think that's still possible? Lewis, do you see any kind of issues coming up there?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is just getting somebody who can at least be a consistent shooter, because that's what's going to save you. You know, like you said, having a stretch four. If you can have somebody who can consistently hit those, or your stretch two, or your shooter at the two, being able to hit those, it makes it a little bit easier worrying about having to have somebody really good on the star players. You can kind of get away with taking somebody a little bit less at LeBron and kind of having him do all the little things, the rebounds, the assists, the steals, and the rest of the defense.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to put the right people in the right spots. I mean, everybody is going to from there on down to compete. Uh, one last question to you, um, Texas. I know it was difficult, you guys, to find LeBrons. Do you think there's LeBrons out there that can play for Z actually? I mean, do you think that 14 mil is going to be a struggle for him? And do you think he can find LeBrons to really step up and take the team? I know that's not your build of what Mike Mann tried to build, and that's where I think the huge failure was. We discussed this a little bit off air, but do you think that Z actually there's going to be a lot riding on him jumping from 9 to 1 because he went after this team,
Hmm.
and everybody keeps saying, well, by far they're the next best team. Uh, do you think he can build with that little bit of cap and still be able to find a LeBron James? Because in the league, there's really hasn't been a standout LeBron James.
This is my thing with this, man, and it becomes it's an issue trying to get LeBron. It's because Kyrie is so good with the ball. You know what I mean? LeBron becomes more of a slasher. You know what I mean? Not really a ball handler, which is what LeBron can do. And it's hard. Like it's really like pick what you want. Do you want to go big money Kyrie? Do you want to go big money Braun? Because if with 14 million, you got to choose one. You know what I mean? And Kyrie's ball handling, Kyrie's ball handling is so good that you have to. I mean, I feel you got to lean more toward Kyrie, especially because he's gonna bring the ball up more. But there are bronze out there if that's the way you decide to go.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Z actually, I would go straight and spend my money on the LeBrons. I think they're harder to find. You can get some people that can really dominate with him, and that's what I would. I mean, that's what I would go for, and then pick up the pieces around him. But that's just me personally. Moving on to the second pick. The second pick was Master Quickie, who is another owner. Um, he went from the fourth pick and traded to the second pick with Mike Mann because Mike Mann actually got the second pick. Talk about a horseshoe up your ass. That's the second year in a row Mike Mann has had the second pick, which is pretty strong. Mike Mann moved down to the fifth or to the fourth spot, which then allowed Master Quickie to jump up and take which I think is the number one team, the Los Angeles Clippers, and that's only because, like I said, I played there last season. So for me, the Clippers is by far the better team. Um, for me anyway, I just feel that the bigs are just unbelievable because you can paintball in this 2K. At that second pick, 14 mil, traded up. I mean, what is your overall grade for Master Quickie? Do you think that's the best pick for that best spot? Talking to Texas.
Um, yes. I think for being the second pick with Golden State out, I think obviously, it's either Cleveland or the Clippers at number two. Especially seeing what Mizark did with the Clippers last season. But that's a whole different beast, and I don't know if Quickie could tackle that. Because with the amount of cap he has, man, that's a hit. And I mean, I like how we have it 14-14 at 1 and 2. I feel the Cleveland and the Clippers are really close to one another, as talent wise. And I feel that the Clippers can really compete for being the best team without Golden State in. Uh, and so yeah, I think you have to go with the Clippers at number two, definitely.
Yeah, like I said, to me that's arguably the best team only because Chris Paul, 91 overall, I believe he continues to be super strong at point guard, and now he's back and healthy. I love Luke at three. Luke's one of my favorite players in the game. You've got your two bigs, I think, DeAndre and Blake Griffin, which are both extremely strong. And two, you've got JJ Redick. There's really not a weak spot on that roster. If there is, it's a three, but you could put in Wesley Matthews, and he's just gonna kill it. So there's really not a weak spot on that team. I mean, Lewis, do you see the second pick, the Clippers, hands down?
Oh, absolutely. That's hands down the next pick you make, man. Just the simple fact that the bigs are so dominant, just that alone makes it ridiculous. But then you add you had great shooters with JJ and you had a great point guard, it's automatically the number 2 pick.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, to me, they're almost a first pick because of the way 2K plays and how you can just manipulate the paint. And that's only because I haven't seen a really good LeBron yet, and they could prove me wrong and come out and show me. But with that kind of cap, still cap is at 14 mil. I mean, do you feel they're going to struggle to put together a solid team at 14 mil? Oh, Lewis, do you see that being a problem?
Well, if your main concern is going after great bigs, I feel like I've always seen a lot of people who really know how to use the big in this league. And just with DeAndre's skill set, you're even if you have somebody a little bit less, they're still going to get the rebounds. They're still going to get the drop steps with him. So I think you could be okay. It's a little bit easier than with the Cavs.
Yeah, I think it is easier to pick a big man in the league. Now, you
You know,
being a big man, Texas, what do you think that, I mean,
hmm
do you think the big man talent is deep? I mean, do you think that you can get a
I
decent big
think
man and he could ball out?
I think like just to kind of piggyback what off Lewis said, that I think that uh, it, the Clippers are a lot more noob friendly than the Cavaliers are. Like you can put an average big man on DeAndre and he'll put up better numbers than average. You know what I mean? So I think they're definitely more new friendly as of, because it's easier offensively to play in the paint than it is to play like a LeBron or to play like a Kyrie, with the handles and all that stuff. So you don't need that. You just need to be able to push somebody under the rim, catch the ball, and dunk it with DeAndre. That's it. New friendly. That's about as new friendly as you can get right there. Walk up to the rim, catch the ball, hold X, bang, done. And so I think there's a lot of guys, a lot of average big men in this league that can put up points. I played a game earlier. I'm not gonna call him out because but he's an average player. He's an average big, and he played on DeAndre. He had like 16 points. You know what I mean, off like 15 shots or something like that. But that's because all you do is walk on the rim, catch the ball, press X, and you got buckets. And there's nothing almost anybody can do except block it. So, and that's hard to do on DeAndre. So I definitely think that it's going to be easier to put together a team on the Clippers than it would be on the Cavs. The Cavs issue is finding a LeBron and a Kyrie, and then on the flip side, you got to find a DeAndre and a Blake. So, but big man's a lot easier to find, in my opinion, than point guard.
Yeah, I mean, I
So,
think the big man's a little deep only because I don't play big men. My pro am guy's a big guy, but I think it's easier in this 2K to play a big man if you have the right big man, I
mhm.
should say. But
Offensively, I'm gonna say
offensively, yes,
offensively,
yeah,
it's definitely
offensively, I agree,
easier.
I agree.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next pick. Actually, is O Lewis with us tonight. He has the third pick. He got lucky being a new owner to get that third pick up there. He took the Rockets. I'm not going to ask a silly question and go, do you think that's the right spot for him? Because obviously he does. He picked the Rockets. Can
Right.
you give me some things that were going through your head though, Lewis? What I want to know as an owner, sitting there at the third pick, you kind of knew Cavs and Clippers are going to come off 1 and 2. I mean, if any of those slip ups, I imagine you would have snatched them. But here, setting here at the third spot, to me is one of the hardest spots, only because this it starts getting very arguable at this point. Who's better than who? So tell me, kind of explain to me why you felt the Rockets, or what was going through your head and why you picked the Rockets.
Well, so for me at 3, I kind of thought that yeah, the Clippers are definitely the number 2, but sometimes people want to have a bigger like guard or ball handler. So some people might switch for Harden instead of dealing with Chris Paul. So I always was just considering those two. I like the Trailblazers, but just down low, especially with the injury right now, I felt like they were just a little bit too soft. And then I always feel like defensively, just how small they are in the guard section is always can always be an issue. So for me, that's my first thought was just like, okay, with 3, it's either going to be the Clippers if somebody doesn't pick them in the first 2, or I'm going with Harden just because the pieces there are really good.
And so you think the pieces that the Rockets have are worth a number three, obviously a number three pick. What do you think? I mean, would it come down to the last minute decision, or you knew all the time that at 3, if Rockets are there, you're taking them?
Yeah, I knew the whole time. That was as soon as the Clippers are going, I knew I wanted that. I just I just think that team to me, like I said, I like the pieces. You still have a stretch 4 there. Um, and quietly, Sam Decker's actually able to do a lot of the 4-2. Only thing that's a little bit worrisome is the 5, just a little undersized. But other than that, like your 3 can shoot, your 3 plays D, your 1 can shoot, your 1 plays D, and then you still have a solid bench for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you're going to have James Harden bringing the ball up. I think he's a 90 overall in this 2K, and by far an easy all-around player, mid-range. Probably not too many good at too far at the three unless you can get a shot down. But you really got to play him. He's almost like a super strong one. So going into the bidding, I imagine you're going to be looking for a solid two to step up to actually a one that can play the two. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, I've kind of been just looking all over the place, and of course, being a new owner, people hear you got a top team like that, everybody starts to kind of ask for that position. So it just gave me a chance to kind of see who wanted it, and I do know some of the players from the last couple of seasons of playing and knowing who's capable at different things.
Yeah, I mean, looking over at Texas now, I know that um, you're a fan of the Rockets. You think they're a top three pick or top four pick,
Hmm.
easy. You know, so you obviously agree that they should win at their third spot here
I,
without
I
him.
definitely I definitely feel like Lewis made a good choice.
Uh-huh.
Um, Honestly, I wasn't expecting a new owner to come in and make a good solid choice like this. It was kind of surprising, uh, seeing that like I've never heard of Lewis before. Before he applied for ownership, so it was something different to me. Um, and he made a great choice, man. I think that the Rockets are the number three team, and I'm pretty much going to repeat what he said. I mean, with the Trailblazers being hurt down low, that kind of takes them out the picture for me. With the Raptors being hurt at the one, that takes them out the picture for me. And the Rockets have everything you want to succeed in this league. You got a dominant ball handler. You got a lockdown. You can play lockdown at the one, lockdown at the three. You got a stretch four and a big like a weight strong, strong sturdy paint. And I think that's everything you need to win in this league. And as long as you get good players to fill those roles, then there should be no reason that you should not push for a playoff spot. In my opinion, the Rockets are a hands down three pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I'm not a huge Rockets fan, so I mean maybe I'm a little biased here. I was a little surprised they were taken at three, although they are a good 2K team. I think it really depends on the makeup that you have on your team, what is going to make or break, I think, that Rockets team. But again, for me, it's not the best pick, but it's still, it's like I said, anywhere between three, four, five, I think they should go. So that's all arguable there. Um, so the next pick is the trading from two down to the fourth. Um, is the Oklahoma City Thunder taken by Mike Mann, again no GM. They have 16 mil, which is 2 million better than the first and second pick, but only 1 million better than the third pick, which gives you 2 million more going from two to this pick here at four. I was blown away by this pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder. If I was giving grades out, I would hit them pretty low, and that's only because I feel there are so many better teams above them. And I know it's the make of the team and how you build the team, and that really matters. But for me, Mike Mann is arguably a top five point guard in the league. Some people say, no, he's not even a top 10, but I disagree. I think his stats has proven that he's a top five, arguably best point guard in the league, at least what he's done here in the EBA. However,
Agreed.
to pick the Thunder at that pick, I mean, I want to go to O. Lewis first. I mean, do you think the Thunder should have been picked that high at number four?
Oh, absolutely not. I actually had those guys before. I had those guys last season actually, and it's
Yeah,
tough. It's definitely a tough situation with them.
yeah. I mean, I it's real bad struggle for me, and I'm kind of leaving Texas out here because I know he's biting at the a bit to say his
I
piece
don't know what
or
you're talking
whatever.
about.
But but to pick them at that spot was really surprising, even by somebody. I consider Mike Mann an intelligent person. I think he's a hell of an owner. I won't take those things away from him. However, this pick is definitely questionable. You probably agree with it based on your situation, but I mean, what do you think? Would you grade this pick, Texas?
Why would I agree with it?
I'm just saying,
Anyway,
he's your boy.
um,
Everybody knows he's your
I
boy,
don't know
so
what
I'm
you're
sure
talking
that
about,
you would,
dude. Let me
we've been
hold
called
on.
biased a few times on this show. So being
Stop hitting me
biased.
with the bus. Stop hitting me with the bus, bro. Okay? Look. I think Mike was, I've played with Mike a couple times in the past, here and there. And I think that Mike was put in a difficult situation. From the looks of things, he might have wanted to go a different way. Um, maybe it didn't happen that way. But I mean, yeah, if you want to claim, oh, well, that's bad for that pick, well, okay, but it's not like he could get another one. The dude had to trade back, and he was stuck. He was stuck where he was at that point. So it was kind of just like pick your poison. Do you want to go with a weak paint Trailblazers team, or and any of the other teams picked below that? I can't see that being Mike's style, in my opinion. Maybe the Trailblazers might have been the pick to go, but yeah, it was rough. It's rough having to take the Thunder in the top five. Yeah, maybe a couple things could have happened differently. It's unfortunate, whatever, however you want to see it. But overall, I mean, you got Russell Westbrook, one of the best point guards in the game. I mean, let's be honest, Trainer made an All-Star with him. If he
Yeah.
can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's a given.
Right? I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And I mean, they got a good bigs. They got good defensive bigs, with Cantor and Adams. They got strong guys down there. They got what's his face, McBuckets from Chicago.
Dougie
They got,
McBuckets. It's
I
my
mean,
boy.
and they got Oladipo, a slasher. They got everything you want. The only thing that this team is missing to really elevate you to that next level is a stretch four. And they got Gibson and Cantor, and they took Cantor's three away, which Cantor got a nice stroke at the midi though. I mean,
Well, I
it's
mean,
tough, but I mean, you could say, it was a tough situation. That might be one of the tougher picks in this being at four. 2 mil up from the up from away from the first pick, and six was it 4 mil from the bottom. It's a tough spot to be in, man. That might be one of the tougher picks to have in this league.
well,
So Mike went with something he thought he could win with, and you can't blame my owner for picking who he wants as trainer.
I don't think it's the worst pick in the draft. There was worst. There was worstesses, whatever. There was really bad picks in this
Worse.
draft. Yeah,
It was
that's what I'm
worse.
looking for.
Right.
Worst picks in the draft. However, at that spot, I was like, what the fuck? Also, and Lewis is here. He can kind of back me or not back me here. They had more cap, and they to me had some of the best with Dimes, with JT on that team, and they still struggled to compete. They still struggled with that team, and so no matter who you have around you, you have some of the best players in EBA or in 2K period as players, and even though Lewis was on that team, and they struggled with that team. So
Dimes got out of there.
but
Dimes
not right
left.
away. Dimes left because he looked around him and was like, "We can't win with this team. I want out." And he went to a team that
I don't
actually
think
made
it was
to the
team.
finals.
I think it was the users
It,
around
it
him, man. He had
probably
trainer on his team.
it probably was, but if you think that Mike Man, and I like I said, respect given as an owner, respect given as a player, but if you think Mike Man at 16 million can compete with that kind of money and can't get those high name players that are willing to stick around and play with the Thunder, if you think that you guys or that he can compete and be that strong, I'm just saying we will find out again if by the end of the season we're humbled. That's all. He had the Cleveland Cavaliers with less. He couldn't do it. Now he's got these
He
little
made
bit,
playoffs.
few
What are you
million
talking
more.
about?
Yeah, but he lost first round with the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is the easy by far. I mean,
Oh,
Lewis,
okay,
back
yeah.
me up here.
'Cause
You played on
that's
that team
never
last
ever
season.
happened before.
Do
A
they
team has
have the
never lost in
talent
first
to
round with the
compete in the
Cavs.
EBA? Do the Thunder have the talent to compete in the EBA?
I'll, okay, I'll give Texas credit because he did mention two things that we didn't have.
Okay.
We didn't have Dougie McBuckets when we played, and Canner was hurt most of our season. So that those two people do make a difference,
hmm
but it was definitely hard. I mean, I played directly on the line in some games with JT and Trainer, and you will be in games for a while, and then it kind of just slowly gets away with you. You can't get, you miss a couple of rebounds, you swing it around, and At the three, there's nobody to shoot it. There's no shooter there. At the four, there's no shooter there. So those people get left open, and you're just trying to space it for Westbrook. So sometimes it is hard. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with the fact that you do have Canner now, and the fact that you do have a shooter at the three now. That helps a lot more.
Yeah, like I said, I was really surprised at Thunder at the fourth pick. I was kind of blown away. I expected a little more, and I know that you're kind of in a situation where, well, you can't get another pick, and you're kind of go with what best fits your team. And I wish Mike Mann the best. I hope he puts some great players in some great positions. And of course, I want to see nobody fail in the EBA. I just think the Thunder, it's not real life. Westbrook can't put up triple doubles constantly for you to pull you out of games. And they're just going to double team him. I seen it happen with the Trailblazers last year with Fab. They're just going to double team him, and if he doesn't have the right players around him that can pull him out, it's going to be that sinking feeling again. So I wish the Thunder's the best. And Mike Mann, hopefully you can build a good team. No post bidding GM. You notice here the top 4 or 5 picks don't have a post bidding GM, which it eats up a ton of your cap. So I can completely understand why you wouldn't. I mean, I imagine that's why you didn't go with 1-0 Lewis. There's nobody worth that much of your cap to put as a GM. Am I correct? You felt it right now.
Yeah,
It's
that's just
tough
too
when you
much
don't have.
money.
Yeah, it's tough when you have a top pick. I mean, that's kind of the trade-off you get. I can't have a GM, which sucks because it's important. I think GMs are very important to the league. However, I also see people abusing GMs, so I don't think they should be given freely to people. So I'm kind of on the fence with this one here, but I agree with you that it's just too much of the cap. Moving on to the next pick. Enough about the Thunder. Moving on to the next pick, it was actually It's Rush who got the 5th pick halfway through here, and he picked the Trailblazers at the 5th pick. Playing on the Trailblazers last season, I can personally say, and I only did it for a couple at the beginning, and I do think it was a little bit with the new owner evidence, so I'm not beating up on him. I'm just saying I think he made some mistakes in bidding and mistakes in building the team. And with the big man out, it is going to be difficult. However, I think they 1, 2, and 3 I think are extremely strong with that team, and if you can shoot out of your spots, you can't compete at that level. But I mean, Golden State did a very good job with the top 3, 4, 5 kind of shaky, which count for their downfall in season 6. But I really honestly feel that with that kind of cap, 17 mil, It's Rush could probably shake some things up with the Trailblazers if he can find maybe a couple well-talented big men to play above the level that the player that they have. Does that make sense? Though? I mean, do you agree with that, O. Lewis, or do you disagree?
No, most definitely. I mean, the only concern with that team that drops them out of the top three is just the bigs, because uh, I that's one of the teams I hate dealing with. Because with the two guards, all they have to do is kind of come off screens, and their jump shots are quick, and people know them well. The people on them know them well, and it can just be problems. So the only real issue is if you can at least get them to miss. It used to be a problem getting the rebounds, but with the bigs missing, it's a little bit easier to get those rebounds now.
Yeah, I mean, if they do miss, they're not going to get a second or third shot, of course. Uh, I mean, is Ed Davis out for the season, or is he just injured for a little while?
Um,
Does anybody know? I mean, I
I
think
couldn't
I
tell
think
you.
he's a decent. Is the what? Who was playing 4-2? He's kind of broke a little bit. Who they put in for us? Farouk, I think it was, or does that sound right? At the
yeah, I
4.
think Alfred's playing the four right now.
Yeah, he
I
could.
think Ed Davis might be done for the season.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, Al Farouk could still do. I mean, he was pulling rebounds that I didn't think he could pull, even over the Clippers. He was pulling them down. I was surprised with. And again, that you're gonna have to pick big men, that decent big men, I think, to make that strong. But you also can't go weak on your 1 through 3. Uh, at that pick there, at number 5, do you think Trailblazers is a good pick? Texas.
Yeah, at number 5, yeah. I mean, honestly, like I think it comes to the point where it's like, who else is left? I mean, it's tough. Trailblazers are good. The issue is they're big. They got a homeboy, was it from the Nuggets? I think. I can't really say his name off the top of my head, but for a center, some Russian name or some shit. But he's not bad. He's strong, but he's so unathletic, man. And the issue there is just gonna be athleticism down low. It's gonna hurt bad. And if Ed Davis comes back, it's gonna be a big help. But I know it's Rush, and he's been a success in this league for the last few years. He's been really good. So I see. I see him doing okay things here. I see him bringing some of his homies, getting some of his homies together and see what they can do. Um, it's gonna be tough with the Trailblazers in the paint because I feel like it's a favorable big man 2K. So they better get somebody that can handle himself down there pretty well. But I think he's gonna do better than what Evidence did last season. That's not a knock on Evidence. It's just I feel like Evidence was kind of just I don't know. I felt like he was in a just a little tougher spot than what Rush is.
Well, I mean, they
Um,
were already
I re-
weaker at that spot. Evidence is not a very good 2K player. It's his first season trying to play 2K, so it's
well, yeah,
Rush is
that
already a
and
10
Rush
times
knows
better
more.
player.
He knows more people.
I
He
agree.
knows more people
Yeah.
around the league than Evidence did going into the bidding. So I think Rush is going to do a better job here. Trailblazers are good as long as you get a good Damian, and but you have to have that. He better spend some money on Damian.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I think they struggled last season to find a good Damian other than, one side there with Fab. But everybody he was trying out originally, Evidence, it just seems like, and I was in a lot of games with him because he was a new owner and I was trying to help him out and get some guys that I knew and were with him. But I didn't know they were going to put me on his freaking team. But anyway, uh, I think that a lot of people struggled with Lillard. I mean, some people that wanted to try and then realized it's not as easy as you think, but some people are just dirty as hell with him. Um, you know, two screens left, right, pops you in the face, and it's just you're like, come on, dude, how do you stop this guy? So I think fifth pick right about in there. It's kind of shaky, but I think they're about right where they should go. I would almost put them up one or two, and like I said, that third through five is probably pretty arguable. Other than that Thunder pick, but I won't go back to that. Let's move on to the next pick. Moving down to six, you actually have Dimes who selected his GM, which is Fab, and these two together, I think, will be damn scary. They picked up the Pelicans. Other I was a big fan. I wanted Pelicans picked no matter what, especially with the addition of Boogie at center position. Now I think they can compete with any two big men in the league, um, and I think that they will be damn scary, especially they can shoot inside, outside. I mean, the two that they have at the 4 and the 5 is going to be real scary. The problem is, for me anyway, they're really weak at the 2 and 3. Um, the one I think is still strong. I don't think it's. I don't know what position Dimes and Fab are playing, but I think one of the hardest positions to fill on a team is point guard. Then I also mentioned off the air that Fab, I feel, did his best work as Rondo, which isn't an outrageous big man. You would think guys like that would have to have absolute superstars. I think he did his best work as Rondo, where he was able to share the ball with guys like Rudy Gay, with me as Corey Brewer. He was able to share the ball. He had to made his team around him better, which to me makes a point guard amazing. So Dimes, of course, we know is Mr. Money in the Bank over here, Mr. Show Me the Money. Um,
Here comes the money.
and he's probably ready to step into the EBA his first time as owner, which I'm excited to have him, and really push up the league totally with Fab as his. I mean, these 2 point guards, Lewis, I know that you've been around for a little while, but I know that I don't know the history between Fab and then Dimes, of course, last season, what he did in Pro Am and then came actually in the league and did well, very well with Isaiah Thomas. Do you see these two kind of scaring you at as the Pelicans at that pick?
Oh, most definitely. Um, them as users, they're just really talented guys. Um, the question is, where they go. I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing. The question is where they go. Do they take over the superstars, and then you kind of feel around that, or as guys who kind of play the wings and the point guard, do they take the guards and really try to get themselves some really talented bigs? Them as users, even on decent guards, could really put up a fight if they can get at least one talented big around them.
Yeah, they're not really known for playing bigs. Both Dimes and Fabs are known as, like, again, probably top five um, point guards in the league. Those two guys, I would have to easily 1 and 2, 1 and 3, even. I mean, the arguable here um, are for EBA anyway. I would have to say that they are top point guards in the league. So, do they step away from the point guard and play bigs? You said, Texas, that the bigs has a lot bigger pool this season for the bigs, but at 11 mil, do you think they still have enough room? Because that's all they've got. They spent $6 million of their $17 million on Fab, which I think still, I think he's worth it. There's a few people that are worth it. I do think he's worth it. But you have $11 million now. You have to build a team around. Do you feel that they're going to struggle? One, what do you think about the pick at 6 at the Pelicans? And two, do you think they will struggle with that extra $11 million and find big enough guys to pull them out and help them when they need it?
Yeah, I definitely think that the Pelicans are good at where they got them. The issue is like, um, the point guard, obviously, because Doms and Fabs are gonna play the one. There ain't no way in hell they're switching off the one. Um, so I think it's kind of smart, because at the same time, like you already know what they're capable of at the one, so you got to respect the game no matter what, no matter who they have. You have to respect these two guys' game, regardless. Now, on the flip side, then you still have to respect AD and Boogie. Both of them guys have massive talent down low, so it's kind of smart, because they're gonna have to draw attention to these two guys in general, just because of what they can bring to the table, regardless of who they have. And then uh and then on the flip side, you have AD and Boogie, so they're going to draw attention. So it's going to be really hard to play defense against those guys. In general, they got massive paint presence with those two guys that take over the game, and they're going to have a lot of help this season. So it's going to be something different for both of these guys. It's definitely, it's a surprising pick for Dimes to take them, just because I figured they would go with something more of a all star of a point guard, but.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Dimes and them wanted to trade up. I thought I heard somebody talking about that. It's not 100% guaranteed, but I heard somebody saying something about they were wanting their pick or something. But I think the Pelicans are a great choice. I think they definitely need to be picked this season, and I'm very excited to see what they can do with some a decent point guard instead of an all star.
Well, I do know with 11 million, I think they're going to struggle a little bit to fill some spots, especially with the competition that's out there right now. In the past, I don't know about Dimes, and since Dimes is a new owner, I do know about Fab has kind of leaned towards, and I'm using quotation marks, his boys. With that kind of money, it's gonna be really hard to pick up a Ramo or a JT. It's gonna be very difficult, I think, for them to do that. And I also don't see, and I could be wrong here, but I don't see a whole lot of trial games that are going on or tryouts to find that diamond in the rough. Oh, Lewis, coming back to you, do you think, I mean, I don't know if you hold tryout games, do you think that's key, or do you kind of already have your guys that you think you're going to go after and you think you're going to get with that kind of money?
Well, the interesting thing is just dealing with folks who want to play out of their position a little bit. In terms of the people that I looked at personally, I already seen them play from the last what I've been here 3 seasons, 4 seasons. So
Oh, wow.
some of the people that I've seen kind of beat up uh, on folks over time. That's who I kind of pay attention to, regardless of if I actually get to try them out or not. I kind of already know from seeing them. But usually, if it's somebody new that I'm trying to play at a different position, or in my case at Harden, I do want to see exactly what they can do in a tryout game.
Yeah, I mean, with you, you can go back to previous Hardens or previous seasons, and anybody can do that. The problem is working with a little bit of cap. I mean, you're working with 15 mil. You're working with more than they are at 11 mil. Um, you've got to kind of find those diamond in the roughs or have people sign up that you know are solid, and hopefully nobody really knows them, so you can kind of sneak. I hate it when this happens, but you can kind of sneak them on a team. Um, so I mean, do you think going into that they probably have a better plan than what we're giving them credit for, or what
Almost
I'm giving
definitely.
them
I'm
credit
pretty
for?
sure.
I guess I'm giving them. I
I'm
say
ge-
we.
I'm absolutely sure they probably got at least one big man hidden in the stash somewhere that they just had signed up for the EBA. I'm probably sure of that.
That would not surprise me. Now, moving on to this next pick, and I am going to go directly back to Lewis here for this pick. Before I say anything, because I've always given my opinion right away and then I shoot it around the horn here, but I'm going to go directly to you and then I will say my piece to end it. But the next pick is actually Trainer with his GM E-Money. $6 million for that E-Money, so he actually has $12 million left in cap. With the seventh pick, he took the Los Angeles Lakers. Lewis, thoughts?
That's trainer being trainer. Okay. I was with trainer last season, and then I played with him outside of here, and that's Trainer being Trainer. The scary thing is, I wouldn't be surprised because he loves playing the underdog with all these underdog teams that he makes a little bit of noise. Nothing crazy, but a little bit of noise with the Lakers.
Oh, what is your thought? What are your thoughts, Texas?
Well, this is interesting to me because I do believe that E Money has not missed the playoffs. I believe that is a fact. I wish I could just like have a statistician. Is that what you would call him over to the left or something like just
Statistician or
like
something, someone that feeds you
statistician?
those. We need one of
Yeah,
those
just
on
be
the
like, yo,
show.
is that a fact? Is
Yeah,
that a
we
fact?
need
Does he
somebody
know
to
this fact?
fact check stuff on the show. We'll see if we can't
And
hire somebody to fact check this.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure that he has never missed the playoffs. And I heard that he was okay with taking the Lakers, which blows my mind. Now, originally, me and I was talking off shot. I was like, hey, they're not really that bad. They're not that bad. He was like, dude, they're shit. They're shit. They're shit. I'm like, dude, they're not that bad. I flipped through. I looked. I was like, holy shit, bro, they're shit. You know what I mean? They're actually bad. But at the same time, I mean, Trainer's a good player. He plays too much. He plays around too much. And I know E Money's a good baller under the rim. He can play. And so it's gonna be very interesting to me to see what they can do with the Lakers. I don't think it was a good pick. I don't think it was worth it. But you can't tell owner who to pick. If he wants to apply himself and apply his time to be an owner, he has the right to pick who he wants to pick. So
Well, now it's my turn. And listen, every single, and I said this off air, every single time Trainer gives me, he in my eyes, and I know I'm nobody, so it doesn't, I don't need to, or you don't need to earn my respect. I understand that, but every time he like takes a step up on the ladder for me, like, oh man, he's really helping out with this new show. Oh, he's streaming games in the playoff. Holy shit, he's realizing his mistakes that he made um, with the Thunder. He's mentioning them. He's admitting to them. He won a All Star. He's really starting to apply himself to the league. Maybe we're getting a different trainer. And then he goes and picks the fucking Lakers. Like what? Like way to take one step up and take 7 steps backwards at the 7th pick. Just so you know, and this is NBA rankings, there's only 2 teams worse than them in the rankings, the Kings and the Nets. Their highest player is, I think, a 78. That's it. You're competing against everybody. You're competing against the other top 10 best teams, and you're going to take the Lakers, and then you're going to laugh about it and go, oh, well, if I lose, I'm supposed to lose. If I win, then hey, I'm a winner. No, you're a loser. No matter if you lose, you win, and I'm betting right now you are not going to make the playoffs with the Lakers. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You cannot compete with the talent and then turn around and only have 12 mil less than the top 4 teams. You have 12 mil. The top 4 teams have more cap than you, and you're going to try to put together a team that is going to be competitive with the Lakers. I will not be surprised if halfway through E-Money tells Trainer to stick it and quits the league. I won't be surprised if that team falls apart before it ever gets rolling. The fact that to me is a slap in the face to the EBA, a slap into the face to every owner that's out there that is actually taking this serious enough to be competitive. He says, "I'll take the Lakers," and if you haven't figured it out yet, I am just flabbergasted, blown away that even happened. I totally, like I said, to me, it's a slap in the face to the EBA, to the EBA media, to the fact that we're trying to be competitive in what we're trying to build here. It's almost like we'll write off that complete team. Now, I hope he proves me wrong and he's competitive. But I mean, serious man. I think if you had 20 picks, the Lakers wouldn't be taken. I mean, am I wrong here, Lewis? Am I missing something on this team? Is there something hidden in this team that I don't know about?
No, I mean they're a bad team. I know. This is what I do know about Trainer. Trainer does know shots, and he does know the attributes in the ranking. And there's some folks in there that are very good one-dimensional players. Either they can rebound really well, have a rebound attribute that's really high, or really high mid-range. on them and things like that. And I think that's the only thing I'm giving Trainer where this could actually work out a little bit for him. But in all reality, yeah, that's a bottom five pick if you have a full league.
I, I'm still like, if he would have picked the Boston Celtics there, I would have been like, hey, they made it to the finals. There's some hidden talent there if he could put together a right team. I can't think of any other worse team that he could have picked there. Even the Kings or the Nets picked there, I could say, well, they've got a couple spots here or there. I mean, looking at this text, James, as the commissioner of this league, take off your media cap for just a minute. Did this not feel like a slap in the face to you? Did this not feel like a fuck this league mentality after giving him owner again, and then he does this? I mean, does that, are you okay with that? Or, I mean, tell me how you feel as commissioner.
This is how I feel, man. Trainer contributes to this league. He does shows. He does media work. He clowns a lot. We get that. Okay, it is what it is. And he applies himself for owner. He doesn't apply himself, but he applies for ownership. And he's a solid owner. He keeps his guys in the game. He keeps the game flowing. He keeps showing up to his games. And who are we to tell somebody that wants to apply their time to be owner? They're going to apply their own time to step up and babysit 9 people, especially in Trainer's case, because Trainer always gets the babies or the divas, one or the other. No offense, Lewis. I'm not don't really know you, so I'm not calling you a baby or nothing. But he always goes out and gets some crazy. He does some crazy shit every season. We understand this, and we can't tell somebody, oh well, you can apply your time, but you can't be these certain teams. This is an open league, and it's Sim. If he wants to pick the Lakers, then it's on him to pick the Lakers. And I believe in his division, he can make the playoffs.
Okay, but as a person on life support, how long do you let them live before you pull the plug? Last season, he forfeited more than any other owner in the league. He also, his team fell apart there at the end. With the Thunder, his team fell apart. He was struggling from the beginning. His team was so pissed that they actually went out on their own, Garbage Assassin, well known to be Trainer's friend, and get their own team because they wanted to be competitive. So, do you stab 8 other people because one guy wants to do his thing? And I would say 8. I would say 9 other people. But there's got to be 10 people on a team. I'm saying 8 because it's him and E-Money. Obviously, E-Money agreed, or he would already be filing for some sort of take me the hell off this GM or something. I mean, maybe even setting out the season, whatever E-Money needed to do if he didn't agree with this pick. So obviously he had to agree, right? So you've got 8 other people that has to be on this Lakers team and try to be competitive with a team that just isn't competitive. You could sim 10 times, and I guarantee the Lakers will lose almost against everybody in the list of teams because they're just not the team based. And with the money he has, he can't go out. He doesn't have 20 mil. He can't go out and blow money on these top players like he did last season. So, I mean, you're forcing 8 players to be stuck with the Lakers and Trainer. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm off. But I just feel that this, like I said,
have
to me,
you seen the
this
division
pick,
they're in?
Yeah, we'll talk divisions here in a minute, but I honestly don't. And maybe I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they do what the Grizzlies did to me when I counted them out. It's Boston.
I'm aiming more for. I'm relying more on E-Money on this than I am Trainer, because I know E-Money likes to win. He clowns, but he likes to win. And I feel like he can do that, man. I really do. I mean, if E-Money's never missed the playoffs, I'm sure he doesn't want to lose that reputation. And I'm pretty sure he's going to fight for a playoff spot. And I think they can do it.
I don't know. You have teams losing against the Lakers, you might have more problems on your hands because it's the Lakers they're losing to. Moving on to the next pick. Let's move on to the next pick, which is the returning King Mizark at the 8th pick. 19 million in cap, minus 6.5. What is he setting at? 12.5 mil. I'm sorry. Yeah, 13.5 mil, right? But he's sitting there. King Mizark picks the Knicks. He's the returning champion, the New York Knicks, at the 8th pick. He has Majestic as his GM, so he did pick a GM. He has a decent amount of cap left. He didn't kill his cap to get Majestic, which I think Majestic is probably another guy. I don't know if he's worth 6.5 mil, but he is definitely, in my eyes, playing with him, a really good point guard or wherever you want to put really good EBA player. And King Mizark's always built a competitive team. So, go straight to O. Lewis with King Mizark at that pick at 8, Knicks. I mean, what are your thoughts?
That's a good pick. You can do a lot of work with that. Um, first of all, you automatically have Porzingis, so you have your stretch big, your defender, your rebounder there. Um, you got Joe Kim, you got a couple of other bigs on there that can suffice. They can still get some rebounds and they'll finish. You got Melo there too, so you have a secondary scorer. And most leagues, that's how you run it. You really push to Porzingis and then run Melo too as another scoring option. Courtney Lee quietly is a sharpshooter, and then you can still get a little bit of production from Derrick Rose. So I mean, you're still in a pretty good place, especially with the eighth pick to be able to make a run with the Knicks.
Yeah, I think they're fine. I think King Mizark will be fine with the Knicks. He can get a couple good power forwards that are beastie. I'm sure they could carry the team. They played King Mizark and Majestic played with Rivers the majority of last season because CP3 was out, and I think Derrick Rose is probably a step up from Rivers, even though Rivers did some dirty stuff I've never seen before. I still think Derrick Rose is a little bit of step up there. The biggest problem I see, and I've seen it with everybody who plays the Knicks, is that 3 spot um, with Melo. He's just extremely difficult. He's a great player, but he's a hard to play with 2K player. You just can't. His shot's a little shaky back and forth. If you can get him on fire, he's ridiculous. But I mean, what are your thoughts, Texas? With that team, with that pick, what are your thoughts on everything moving forward?
Yeah, man, I think Derrick Rose fits Majestic almost perfectly, man. I mean, Majestic's kind of that drive and pass guy. Drive in, pass out is what I've seen when I play him a lot, or throw it under the rim to Porzingis. What I'm interested to see, and I love Miz. It'd be an honor to play for Miz ever. I heard he might have a bounty on my head, but we'll see about that. Um,
Let the rumors
so
fly.
so yeah, but no, I mean Miz is a great owner, man. I've never hidden my thoughts on his ownership. He's a great guy, great owner, man. He's stepped into my staff for a while too, which he really helped out the short time he was there as well. And he really wants to better the league, and he's always put together a great roster, always. And I don't think the season's gonna be any different. Now the interesting thing here is to know this is his first year without G as an owner. When he's an owner, he's always had G money, which is his brother, be his GM. And that's going to be extremely interesting to see. He might, I don't know if he's going to pick him up or what, but I heard G's playing the wing. G's listening to us on Twitch right now. If he posts something, I'll let you know. But I think, I think, I think he's going to be good. He's going to put a great team together, like always, and he has a good money to do it. I think Majestic is worth the 6.5, and D Rose is a perfect fit for them. And it's a great pick at the spot he got him. Nick should have been taken one before. Well, he got him.
I know G signed up as a shooting guard or whatever. However, I feel that Porzingis can still be the in and out player that G likes. The problem is that he um, went with Blake, and not too much Blake last season, but more DeAndre. And DeAndre is more of a beast down low, hit the X button. I do agree with him. It gets boring. Trust me, I'm a corner monkey. I know it gets boring to set in the corner, wait for your open shot, take it, or cut when you need to cut based on a double team or whatever you need to do. I understand that I got like 3 options. I go to the right corner or the left corner, depending on whichever one, on the break. I sit there and wait. If I get the ball, am I open? Shoot. If I'm not, drive. I mean, it's really A equals B equals C. And it gets very boring to play in that position. I absolutely agree. However, I see G Money coming back to this team, once he gets his hands on Porzingis and realizes, I can play Porzingis pretty much however I want. Got a good mid-range with him. He's beastie inside. He's just a Porzingod, they call him.
Didn't you say he signed up at the 2?
He did, but can't they put the utility player on him?
Not if you have a GM. Not if you have a GM, you can't.
I was not aware of that.
You don't get a flex.
So your flex is your your flex is you automatically have to make your GM your flex.
Yep.
Not aware of that. I was not aware. So that's good. We just learned something new, boys and girls. So Geez, it looks like signing up at the 2. I don't know how that's going to play out for G. Hopefully, it goes to a team he's happy with. Because there's not too many 2s that I think he could. I mean, maybe hit up Lewis here. Maybe you look at G Money playing your 2 for you.
Harden.
Harden, there you go.
Harden. G Money's a
Hey,
savage,
I
man.
wouldn't. Yeah, G's definitely solid. I wouldn't mind G at a 2.
There you go, G. Go hit up old Lewis. See if you can't get a tryout for the 2. Show him what you do. So King Miz, Arc Majestic, they're going to be competitive as the Knicks. They're the returning champions. Those two both have a ring. I can see them building a solid team, and they're going to be competitive this season. Moving on to the next pick, 9. Now, he traded all the way from the first spot, so he was guaranteed a Cavaliers or Clippers at that first spot, easy. Those are probably the only 2 teams I would take at that first spot. If he's guaranteed a first spot, easy, and he drops all the way down to 9th to take the Jazz, the Utah Jazz, bringing King John on at $7 million, which King John's a solid player. That's not a bad bring on there. I don't know, $7 million is a little much. I think it takes away a good. He's got $14 million left in cap. So pretty much he traded from the first spot. He traded a better team to get King John with the same salary. Setting at that 9th pick, Utah Jazz. When you get down here, really you can argue 9th, 10th, whatever. I want to go straight to you, Texas, and see. Do you think 9th pick Jazz? You think that's a solid pick?
There's some better teams out there, but yeah, the Jazz can be okay. The thing I like is King John. I like the GM of King John. John's been a staff member and a very good staff member before, so he knows the system. He knows what you can and can't get away with. John's also a very good player. He can do a lot of things for you, and he can also post. He can also post your stats and so on and so forth, and do a lot of things for Eastern to take a lot off of his plate. $7 million, that's a bit steep for that.
Anybody,
but,
yeah.
John could be a great player.
Yeah.
I don't think in this situation I don't think you want to look at the Jazz as much because they're a solid team. They got Gobert and some decent wings here and there. But I think you want to look at more what Eastern is going to do with the salary, because Eastern has been an owner in this league before and he's done great things with money in this league. So I think that we're looking for more of the salary than the team. I think really he could have gone with any team above the halfway line. As long as they ain't like the Lakers or anything, and be okay just because of the experience he has in the league. So I think the money is where you want to really look at this pick, and I think they're good. I think Eastern's going to do good things here.
Looking at that, Lewis, I mean, do you agree with everything he's saying? First of all, do you feel any player in the league's worth $7 million, whether or not you need him as a GM or not? And then second of all, with $14 million left with the Jazz, do you think they could put the right pieces in the right places and be competitive? And was that a good pick at 9th? So I threw like 3 questions out at you. Go ahead and throw them back.
So, if you're gonna get a GM, it's a smart move what he did. I mean, you like you said earlier, you essentially moved down and got your GM at the same price. And with the Jazz, I mean, you still have a great defender, great rebounder in Gobert, and then the pieces around the wing. You're still pretty good. You still have some athletes and some shooters, so you can work around that. But I think, like you said, the biggest thing Texas said that's true is um, Eastern's a really good owner. He's gonna definitely draft well.
Yeah, I mean, do you think at that pick, that 7th is, I mean, at that pick where he's at 9th, the Jazz is what you would go with? I mean,
There's some other options, but I've always seen people use the Jazz and make a really good run just because defensively, most of their wings are athletic and pretty long, and then your big just shuts things down, and you can really paintball with Gobert. I know Derek Favors is out right now, but Trey Lyles is still, very usable. I think he has a pretty high 3 still, so you're not completely out of it with picking them at like 9, 8, 9.
yeah, Gordon Hayward's not too bad from what I know. Like you said, Favors is out. Diaz, he's still playing for that team? I don't know. He's old as shit. Boris Diaw still playing for that team? He might be in there somewhere. But Alec Burke, I mean, Dante Exum, Rudy Gobert, I don't know. George Hill, he's pretty solid. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm sleeping on the Utah Jazz as well. I don't think that's the best pick he could have made there. But maybe they know something I don't. Eastern, I know, does his homework, and I know Eastern's a solid owner. So picking King John up, I'm sure those two will work together and put together a solid competitive team and make a run for it. Moving to the next pick at 10th pick, you have the last pick, which was gifted to the wonderful garbage assassin, probably the most feared man in the league. He picked the team Wizards, and he has 20 mil, the most cap out of anybody else in the draft, hands down. He's blowing people away. I mean, the next highest is 17 million with its rush. He still got him beat by 3 million. So he has money to play. Do you feel, Lewis, that he could really cause some friction with bidding up some solid players and making it harder to get some of these bigger guys out there with the Wizard with the most caps? And also, what do you think about the pick at 10 of the Wizards?
So I mean, first of all, with the cap space, if you know what you're doing, you can definitely make it hard for people to get who they want with that type of cap space. And then the second thing is with that pick, you know, you got an excellent player in John Wall, and then following right behind him, you got Bradley Beal, and Otto Porter's shooting right now is out of control.
He's got an
Marcus
amazing
Morris is
3 point.
also a solid.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have a lot of really good wings. So at the same time that you're bidding people up, you can still get you a good player, and they'll have a pretty solid wing to work with. The only thing you have to deal with kind of is just you're big, but I mean, gosh, you can score. You
Gortat.
can run and you can score.
Is Gortat healthy?
Yes, Gortat is
Yeah,
healthy.
Gortat is not bad. I mean, he's a pretty good center. I think he
He's
can hold his
nice.
own
I
against a
like
lot of
Gortat a
centers.
lot.
Yeah, I think he can hold his
Yeah, I
own, and
like.
then
He's a big, strong guy
I think
with
he'll
really good
struggle
defensively.
with, I would say, some of the top point guards already on teams, as owners in this league. I think he will struggle to find good solid point guards to really run with John Wall. If he could build his team around those, a John Wall, I think he could be very, very damaging in the league if he could get top two point guards and that is left in the bidding, and then turn around and probably get top two centers, and then from there just fill in where the holes fit. The problem is, I hear he's going to stick with his clique, and I don't think they'll be competitive as his clique. They'll have fun. They're probably one of the funnest teams in the league, but I don't know if they will be competitive. I mean, what are your thoughts, Texas, from the information that we've just heard rumors? It's just flying around, but what are your thoughts with the Wizards and what's going on there?
If I was Assassin, and I was gonna say this just a second ago, he should have traded up because my opinion, he's gonna go with his click. So he should have traded up, taken less money, got a better team, and got his boys that way because his boys ain't gonna go for a lot. And I played a few games with the guy, and he's going with low money and shady on Xbox and stuff like that. So he definitely should have traded up. Wizards a good pick at 10 though. I'm not mad at him for that.
Well, someone let him know that he doesn't get to take the extra cap home with him. That he might as well spend it, and at least case scenarios make some of these other guys pay for it. Because if he doesn't get competitive, he's the only one. Last season there was a couple people that could be a little bit trolly, and I'm not against it. I think it's needed in the league in order for it to be competitive. But if he doesn't go out there and jump a couple bids, and if he stuck with him, he stuck with him, but jump a couple bids and get some solid players in position and make other people pay the necessary cap to get those solid players, I could see this season being a little rough, especially for him. I mean, the rumor has it he was going to have Cuban play John Wall, and that's just, I like Cuban. He's a great guy, but maybe let him play Otto Porter. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I could see. I think this team fits Dimes and Fab better. Just be their play style.
I agree with that statement.
I think that this team would fit them better, but I also feel that he's going to struggle this season. I feel it's going to be a struggle for him. I mean, you seeing with that going in, I know Lewis said he can make a lot of moves in bidding. You've been around for a little while, Lewis, so you've played and you've kind of seen some mistakes and so forth. Garbage Assassin's been around as long as I can remember, even back in the old VBA days on a different site. But he's also been known to always run with his same clique with Trainer and those guys now that they split up. I mean, you've obviously seen it the last few seasons. you've seen new owners struggle. Looking at the list of new owners, you're one of them. I want to throw this out to you here just real quick. Which owner do you feel is probably going to struggle the most this season being a new owner?
Um, I mean, I know Garbage knows the ins and outs, but I think Trainer is a person that used to take care of a lot of things for his team,
Mhm.
and kind of having to pick that up, and even especially with the fact that he has all that cap rooming and should play with it more, I think he's gonna deal with the most, especially at the front with the drafting, and then just making sure he kind of keeps everybody in the flow of the game if he does pick his click and they go down.
Yeah, I've seen him doing a lot of tryout games. I've almost gotten in a couple of them. Of course, he runs them throughout the day. So that's nice to see that he's out there actually trying to find that diamond in the rough, and he needs a couple guys that can run that team. If not, I think he'll be struggling this season. Any last thoughts, I guess, going 1 through 10 before we jump off of here? Um, what would you say is the worst? Well, the worst one's the easy one. What would you say is the best pick in the in the team draft? Let's go with you first, Lewis.
The best pick is gonna. I take the Clippers.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's like a
that
no-brainer though,
team
right?
is like,
Like, I mean, that's still you
yeah. I
still
mean,
feel
it's
that's the
just
best
user
pick.
friendly. It's just user friendly,
Hmm.
and so even with the low cap, you'll be okay. But um, in terms of like owner and being able to play, I see the Knicks being a that Knicks pick can be a very big issue just because if you draft correctly as well as just playing your game that I think he can, that team can definitely make a big push.
Going with you, Texas, what do you feel is probably the steal of the draft there at picks? And I don't pick the number one. That's an easy one. Everybody knew Cavaliers are going one. What do you think is the best where placement pick?
Um, for a team plus money equals good if as long as there's a good owner, or we just like excluding owners out of this,
No,
just
I mean
strictly
like
picks.
where you're seeing the owners and where they picked. I mean, what do you think's a good steal for where we're setting right now in the team draft?
Um, I think the Knicks, man. I think the Knicks that late is a good pick. I think the Rockets at 3, which I absolutely did not think he was gonna take. Um, it's I think that was that. I think the Knicks is definitely the steal though. Knicks definitely is still that late for 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably have to agree with you guys on the Knicks at 8. Um, with the way that piled out. I don't know if Pelicans at 6, maybe. Um, I don't know if like I said again, I've got to feel out how the owners are going to fit into that Pelicans team, or the owner and GM. So, I mean, if they're going to say, hey, we're going to carry, but we're going to carry at the 1 and get solid players around us so we don't have to all the weight, then I think that could be a scary team. But I think I agree with you. If you're just looking at right now who the owners are, who the GMs are, what kind of cap is left. I think the best setup and best pick, other than the first and second spot, I mean, to me, you can swap those, and I still think they're going to be solid picks. I think the Knicks getting them as low as 8 is pretty solid for them. I think they continuously are fighting to make the playoffs or make the playoffs. Every time they've been picked, they've been fighting for the playoffs. At least I know. So what we did this season was a little different than what we usually do, and I think it helped with why you see such random team picks. Is we actually changed the way the divisions are done. So it's not the real East and West that you would normally see. Instead, they were randomized, right? Done by Mags, randomized the divisions. So just to kind of a real quick overview here, I'm going to pull this up. The East conferences are the Rockets, the Pelicans, the Knicks, the Wizards, and Thunders. Um, the West is the Jazz, Lakers, Cavs, Trailblazers, Clippers. Going to you first, Lewis. You have the Rockets. You are in the East. Which one do you feel like is the harder conference, the East or the West?
Well, if you just take teams, the first thing I did when I just looked at it at teams, I felt I was in a good position just because literally all the top seeds around me, all the top picks around me were on the opposite side. But I mean, when you take into account user and things like that, it's gonna definitely be a fight on my side. I see that being being the hardest conference to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at who the owners are, who the owners and what kind of cap they have, I think I would agree with you that the East is going to be a little scary. This might be the first time the East wins at all. What do you think, Texas?
I'm gonna be brutally honest here, man. I think the West is looking like shit, and that's not a knock against all of them. That's just a plus on the East, and that's because the all like I mean you got Dimes, you got Mizark, you got Mike. I mean those guys right there have been around for a long time, and and Dimes has Fab with him, and the Mizark has Majestic with him, so that's going to be extremely tough. That East is going to be a dogfight from beginning to end.
So out of the East, let's just say pretend. We don't know what teams are playing out. All we have to go by are owners and their current picks and the current teams that they have. Coming out of the East, you know these guys are going to put together a solid squad. Like you mentioned, some good named owners that have been around, who've been through the ups and downs of owning, and they know who to grab, who to put in right position, how to work their team. So they're probably not going to struggle a whole lot, especially with the new free agent thing in place. Who do you think will come 1, 2, 3 out of the East? You don't even have to put them in order. What are the top 3 teams? There's 5 teams. Sorry, I completely lost train of thought. 5 teams in each division. So give me 3 that we'll see in playoffs at the end of the season. In the East, Texas. We'll go to you first.
I'm gonna go with Thunder, Knicks, Pelicans.
So you think the Thunder, Knicks, and Pelicans. Now, go right to O. Lewis. He just did not mention your team. I mean, he said you're not going to make the playoffs, which you probably see the struggle here a little bit with the owners that you're going against. However, you're probably not shooken or scared one bit. Of course, you have yourself. So tell me 2 other teams that are making the playoffs with you.
I mean, you have to go Knicks and Pelicans. I think I can. I'm giving myself some credit. I think I can edge out. Um, I think I can edge out some folks, but I know Knicks and Pelicans are going to be at the top of there.
Yeah, if I had to pick today, and this is not a knock against Mike Mann, poor guy, Mike Mann constantly makes the playoffs. He constantly loses in the first round, but he constantly makes the playoffs. I think this is the year that Mike misses the playoffs with the Thunder. I think the Wizards, if they run with their squad, they're not going to be competitive, and I agree with you. I think it's going to be Rockets, Pelicans, and Knicks, and not in that order. But I think that the East will see 1, 2, and 3 there, somewhat, amongst those 3 guys. Moving to the West, you have the Jazz, Lakers, Cavs, Trailblazers, Clippers. Go back to O. Lewis. Pick 3 teams out of there that you feel will be in the playoffs at the end of the season.
I'm just gonna go. Honestly, for me, I just looked at the top seeds. That's basically Cavs, Trailblazers, and Clippers.
Yeah, what do you think, Texas, with the 3 teams you think will come out of the playoffs there out of the West?
I'm gonna go with Blazers, Cavs, and Jazz.
Ooh, Trailblazers, Cavs, and Jazz. You're leaving out the Clippers and the Lakers. I'm also going to leave out the Lakers because they'll be lucky to sniff the playoffs, much less get a shot at the playoffs. Even if they do make the playoffs, they're not going to be competitive enough to get past the first round. I just don't see the team itself. I not a knock against Trainer's ability or whoever he puts on his team. I'm just saying right now, when the power rankings come out next week, you can expect him to see at the bottom, just with the team he has. Unless he has to make some amazing moves in the draft or in the bidding coming up, but I don't see him making it. I think it's going to be a dogfight with the Jazz because Eastern I think could put together a strong team, but I still feel it'll probably be Cavs, Clippers, and Jazz. I think that's what I'll go with. I hate to leave out the Trailblazers. I think they can be extremely competitive. It's Rush. Prove me wrong, please, because I know that they're a competitive team and make the playoffs. So that one's going to be the West is to me is a lot more of a shakeup for me. And it's because it's just I don't see any one of those teams can be absolutely shit, depending on how they build. So we'll know more next week when they build. But that is how it breaks down in a division. and how the division is broken down this season. So you see the East isn't really the East and the West isn't really the West, but we'll try something new this season, see how it plays out. Now we're going to do something new, and we're going to do this throughout the whole season because we're going to have something new called the free agency. If you don't know, let me real quick explain it to you. All the owners will go into the draft and pick their 9 or 8 spots left. They'll be bidding on them and bid them in order to put them in the spots that they want to put them. Once it's over, they have the access to the full free agency to do an ECU, which is a one-game contract call-up. They also have the ability to send down anybody that currently is on their roster. So if they grab somebody in bidding, they're playing, and they're just not fitting in the right spot, they can't move them around, locker room issues, they can send them down and pick another player up in the free agency and bring them up. I don't know if there's a limit. Is there a limit on that, or they can just do that as much as they want throughout the season until that ends, I guess?
What are you talking about?
The call-up send-downs for free agents.
Yeah, it'll be open until waivers close.
So that what that does is that leaves every free agent available. So for us, we need to take a real quick look into the free agents that's currently there, and we'll be doing this, like I said, throughout the season. And we'll look at all the free agents that we call steals and deals. So steals and deals, looking through the free agency, give me a couple names that you see on there. Lewis, don't give me your good ones because I don't want to tell everybody what you're going after here. But give me a couple that you feel could be a steal or a deal. So a couple players that you see out of the free agency list here.
Okay. I mean, people that I've kind of got to work out and I like or thought were interesting. I like Ball So Hard. Um, I mean, I like the problem with me is I kind of like the usuals too. So if I get lucky, I want to steal from garbage and give me a shrug if if that's a possibility. Somebody like that.
Yeah.
I trust those guys.
Mhm.
Those are just some guys that I've always been playing with for a little while now, and I know they may not be the superstars, but they'll be consistent where you need them.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody could step up and fill a hole if you need it. Looking through here, Texas, I know you've probably got a couple in mind. Give me a couple steals and deals that you see through this free agency here that you feel are.
I think a good deal for some lower caliber teams that wanna maybe do something for themselves. Maybe pick up somebody like a CW. He'll cherry pick for you, get you easy buckets when you have no offense.
The return of CW. He was on my list here, so
Yep.
that's very good. The
Mm-hmm.
return of
Yeah.
CW.
Oh, because he's on your list, it's good. Oh, okay. All right. Well,
No,
I'm
I'm
glad.
just saying it's a
I'm
good
glad
one.
I'm doing good.
That's a good one.
I'm glad I'm doing good here. Let's see.
Try to give you some
the real
push
Uncle
there.
Drew. Drew's gonna
Yeah.
go for some money, but he's gonna be worth. He's gonna be worth.
He's going to be a
$1.
deal
So,
no matter what you get him, I think. I think you could spend
he's definitely
$4
gonna be
million and
worth the
still be
money.
a deal.
That's for
Yeah.
sure. Doombia for MVP.
Oh.
He's been consistent in this league.
Mhm.
Easy money sniper. G Money. He needs to be very tip top of that list. Anybody that's looking for somebody to put on your list, right? GEEE, money with the zero, because he needs to be at the very top of your list. That man has been a dog ever since he's been in here. He's won anywhere from MVP to defensive
But he's signing up a shooting guard.
MVP.
Is he not scary at
He
this
is.
point?
He is. I think after what I've seen G do, I don't think it matters. I think his talent in general is going to do great things for him.
Does he not get
He's
frustrated
gonna
halfway
do
in the
that.
season when he doesn't touch the ball as much as he did as a big? Because trust me,
I mean,
being
who
a
knows?
shooting guard, I sit in the corner.
Hey, when you sign up as shooting guards, you might be playing point. I'm just saying, you
That's
play
true.
shooting
You
guard
could
just in
play
case
point.
you have to move to the three.
You're right. I could be
Just
wrong.
in case you got to move to the
Yeah.
three.
Okay.
Irvin, he's an attitude problem and a crybaby, but he has decent talent.
Attitude problem. Well, that whole group don't
Let's
have
get it, boy.
Kuro to run them anymore.
Let's get it, boy. Another savage MVP winner last season. He's out here. Anytime you can get MVP caliber players, the money's going to be right no matter how many dollars they got.
So he's a steal
because
and a
he
deal.
can make a break. Absolutely. I think that's about Misty MC Sticks. The problem with him is, he's wanting to go to the Clippers, so play with some of his homies over there, the LGBA squad. So you can look out for that. So I think that's about it.
I want to shoot out a couple people just off my top of my head. Space Jam JT, he's gonna go for some money, but he's gonna be a stealer
JT,
deal no matter
yeah.
what. I know he didn't do
Mhm.
that well last season as he would like to, but trust me, if he can get on a team that will work with him and build some guys around him to help him out, he could be pretty scary. One Wild Walnut, also a sleeper there. I think. I think he'll go for a mil or so, but he's going to definitely be a steal or a deal. Mags, I know he won't go for as much money as he did last season, I don't think, but still, as a solid big man that can put up numbers, signed up at the power forward. So if you need to move him to small forward, you can. However, you're going to see him play his best as a power forward or center. He's going to do well for you. He's not going to. I wouldn't sleep on him. A couple other guys, Crash. I think Crash is solid. He's one I think that's a sleeper as well. He could be a steal. Very low money, 500K to 1.5 mil, and he's going to play that 2-3 for you extremely well.
Got some breaking news.
Shoot,
I got some breaking news. I have just been informed that Coke Boy Han is a deal. I have
Coke
been
Boy Han is
informed
a deal.
that
Let's
Coke
move up
Boy
here and see.
Han
Coke
is
Boy
a
Han
deal.
is a deal. I don't know what his name is in here, but he's a deal. Chairs is another one I think could be a solid player. He's a good pro-am player if you can get him around a good superstar. By any means, Mo. I think he was rookie of the year last year, wasn't he? It was by any means Mo
That's a
rookie of the
great
year.
one. That is a deal.
That's
By
a
any means,
deal.
Mo. That
That's
man
a
is a
deal.
savage.
He's
He
the
is a
next big
savage.
dog. If you need to sneak somebody in, I think Army Vet Steve. I think AO it's Mark. There's just some good named people out there that will come in, will play strong for you, and I'm saying sneak in. I mean 500 to 1.5 mil max, and you're going to get a solid player for those guys, and you could put them pretty much anywhere you need them at the 2, 3, 4 type of area, and they're going to play strong for you. They just have to have the right players, but of course anybody plays in the right position, I think they'll be fine. Um, Other than that, there's not a whole lot to stick out to me that hasn't already been mentioned. Big fan of Illmatic Titan. I'm Uncle Willie's son. He's pretty solid. I know it's Wikipedia, I think is his
Coke
name.
Boy Han is Montana FDU. Is the
Oh,
official
Montana
steel name.
FDU. So you have to make
Montana
sure that's on
FDU.
there. Montana FDU. That's where you get the steal from. Not really no, but that's
Just
still
saying,
he's
I've
still
been
a solid
informed that's
player.
a deal.
That's a deal. Okay, Palm Top Tiger. He plays well. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes
So
for
I've
a little
heard.
bit
So
more
I've
money.
heard.
I played against him a couple times. Of course, Rod de Boom is a good solid player. These are guys I wouldn't. Let me see. Who is your other staff member? I gotta call
Sourcey,
him
man.
out.
Sourcey. He's a realist. Realist. Realist.
Realist. Yeah, yeah,
Realist is
yeah.
my other staff member.
Yeah,
But
he's solid.
Sourcey, he's a guy that he got a bad rap from playing with Crow one season. But I played with him last season. The guy's not as bad as what everybody makes him out to be. He's a legit dude. He's a great shooter on the perimeter. Give him a legit shot, man. He'll work out for somebody.
Yeah, I think Sorcy. I tell you, one that's not too bad. You're probably gonna have to pay a little bit of money for him, but that Texas James Smith guy's not a bad player. He's not great, but he's not a bad player. He's
I have
one
an
that you might
attitude
want to
problem. I
you
have an
might
attitude
one you
problem.
might want to look at shaking things up a little bit. Other than that, I mean the normals that are always going to be there, the high priced guys, but really the deals and the steals we've pretty much went over. I'm sure I missed a couple people. Prove me wrong this season. Throw your name up, throw your name out. I expect to see. What I'm really excited to see is a couple things I'm excited about this season now. Um, I'm excited to see how Crow's team plays without Crow because it's usually his group of guys. I'm also excited to see how Trainer's guys, and I hate to call them Trainer's guys now, how that group plays without Trainer in charge. Those are a couple drama setting moments that I really want to watch as a fan. It says I just got a message from Trainer. James Smith is confirmed for Los Angeles Lakers, so he's already making sure you're on that team. Uh, so Texas will be a Laker this year. It's already confirmed by Trainer. He will pay whatever it takes to get him. Um, he sent me a message telling me that. So, I mean, what are some of the, I hate to say drama-esque, but what are some of the things you're excited to see this season, being a new owner in the league, O. Lewis?
Well, for me, it's just a chance for some of us new owners to kind of break our way in. You know, things I saw last year were people want to go to specific people they want to go to. The people who've been here the longest, people who consistently win. So making a name for yourself with all these different new owners is kind of the fun part of it to me, getting the chance to actually prove that I do know, kind of how to pick people, put people in places, and get some wins and make the playoffs.
It's a big thing. I mean, and coming out of your rookie season as an owner, and you can ask Miz, man. If you have a good first season, man, everybody wants to play for you the season two. You can ask Miz. Miz came out with the Timberwolves and did his damn thing, and like now everybody wants to play for
But
the
it's
guy, and they
also the
can't
way
really
that,
blame him.
to back up on that, it's also the way that Mizark carried himself. I'd never even he's played the
Indeed,
season before.
indeed.
He's played a couple seasons before. I'd never really, took a shot to look at him or G. And they ran Minnesota not only with the success they had, but with how they dealt with both staff, ownership, and other players and other owners. Really stood them out above the people that I said after the Timberwolves season I'd play for the guy. I mean, he called a couple owners out on some shady shit that they were doing that's been going on in the league for back in VBA season. Hey, go on IR and then I'll pick you up if don't come back. That bullshit that owners holding or players owning owners hostage, um, and him looking out for the league as a new owner really earned some levels of respect, I think, around the league. So that's why when we talk King Mizark, we say, hey, he's one of the top owners in the league, and I agree with that. Eastern's a returning guy who's been owner in the past in some other leagues and so forth, and I think Eastern will do good as an owner this season. I'm excited to see how Garbage Assassin does. I'm excited to see how you do, Lewis. I think that you seem like a pretty nice guy with your head on right, and I think that you could put together a solid team. And the hard part is just sticking it out the first season with all the ups and downs, and really um, how you work with the staff, with the people around you. If you have a problem, go to staff and say, listen, this is my problem and I don't feel this is right. And if they don't work it out for you the way you feel it needs to be worked out, then, air your grievances with Truth or air your grievances with Mags at that point and move on from there. But I feel that it's how you carry yourself really makes you a solid owner or not. And we have some good ones. I mean, Dimes, it's Rush. Mike Man is solid. I always consider Mike Man a solid owner. Um, Z actually, I'm looking forward to. He used to be staff in the past, so we've got some good new owners. I mean, is that the story for you, Texas? What's some of the stories you're looking for?
Well, I mean, obviously, I like the owners we got because I picked them, me and my staff. So we like what we have. I mean, there were some guys that we gave chances to, like Assassin, that's been around for a while. Took a real gamble on Lewis.
Took a
Took a
real
real gamble
gamble.
on Lewis. Yeah, well, because we don't know him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not that, but he did really good on his interview. So we sound like a legit guy, stand up, looking to do what needs to be done. So we're definitely excited to see what he can bring to the table. But overall, I mean, you got veteran guys like Z Actually, Quickie, Mike Man, Rush, Dimes, Trainer, Mizark, Eastern, and Assassin. Those are veteran names around the league that stand out. So definitely excited to see what happens this year, and I think we're gonna have a really good season. Hopefully, we can compete with last season.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how the season turns out. Like I said, there's a couple drama things that I'm looking forward to seeing, but let's go around the league real quick. And around the league, if you haven't seen it already, you need to check it out. Realist put up a really good article where he talks about the team draft rankings, um, where he rates them and why he rates them where they're at. He gave O. Lewis an A, so I mean that he obviously kind of knows what he's talking about a little bit from the eyes of the Rockets owner. Uh, Also gave Trainer an F, so he automatically wins a positive for mine. But definitely check out this article around the league. It's called Realist Team Draft Rankings. Uh, Trainer says Lewis is from the Trainer coaching tree. He got my seal of approval, which means nothing. That is absolutely right, Trainer. You're on my shit list right now, so stop sending me messages. But definitely check out the Realist article. That's really important around the league. Also around the league, if you're not hitting owners up for signups, it's gonna kick out this Sunday. I believe is that when we're kicking in the bidding?
100%. Bidding is Sunday, so if all you scrubs that want to sign up late, you better get in, because if not, you might not get any action this season. We're opening up a new free agent system, so you might not get a role.
Yeah, so definitely get out there and try out. for teams and get on a team. I seen the list here. I just pulled it up a few minutes ago, but I seen the free agent list here. Looked pretty 124 members. So taking the owners out, which I imagine all the owners are out, you have 90 people that get on a team, minus the couple of here and there. So then you've got probably 84, 85, 86 people that can get on a team. So out of 120 people, only 86 is being on the team. Everybody else is going to the free agency. So definitely get out and try out for a team. If you don't know where you're going to land, you might want to try out for a couple different teams, because you would hate for you to be sitting in the free agency when the season starts. Other than that, there's not a whole lot going on. I'm expecting to see some huge articles. I expect to see the Bid 'em Up article coming soon. Around the league, I'm expecting to see some more maybe team grades or how the bidding is going to play out this season here. And tune in next week's show. We will have a full our preseason power rankings, and we'll also go over who got who, where money, where the steals are at, so on and so forth. Anything you want to discuss before we go, Lewis? I really appreciate you showing up to the show tonight. Am I missing anything? Anything you want to talk about?
No. This is great to be here, and I'll tell the free agents this, man. If you get a call up, you gotta just be ready to ball out. Like I came in here, my first couple of seasons were just as ECs, and my first season actually, I was an EC that won a championship.
Nice.
So you get lucky and you ball out.
Yeah, I mean, I set in TC the first season. Second season, I didn't sign up because I didn't want to set in TC because I thought TC was broke. Third season, I signed up, played with Fab and the guys, enjoyed. Fourth season, played with Fab and the guys and enjoyed. And the last couple seasons, I kind of bounced around a couple different teams. But I'm with you on this, Lewis. You gotta, when you get your opportunity, ball out and play and earn your spot, especially because this league's going to be really competitive with the players that are on. What I hope doesn't happen is you have these teams that are buddy system, and they let the better talent set in the free agency. And that's going to hurt your team, because these other teams are going to swoop in and take that talent, and you're going to be stuck at the bottom of the power rankings there. Anything else you want to talk about, Mr. Texas James Smith? Hold on, let me hit your music. Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to discuss?
Got a new staff member. We're giving Coke Boy Han a shot.
It's all downhill from here.
Hey, easy now.
Let me hit my button.
That's my real team.
GG. It's all downhill.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So just take it easy on my staff, man. He's fine. We got Woody, Realist, and myself. Any of y'all have any issues with anything, man, y'all are more than welcome to contact me 24/7. I'm willing to talk out anything. Before you want to throw a tantrum and take it to the forums, come talk to me. We'll work anything out that you have an issue with. That's about it, man. And make sure y'all, if you're a free agent, make sure y'all get tryouts in, man. And if you don't complain to anybody when you ain't on the team.
I wouldn't leave it up to your boy to pick you up. He might run out of cap real fast, or spots real fast, trying to pick up guys he needs to pick up. So good luck to all the owners going into bidding. I'm excited for every team other than Trainer's fucking garbage-ass Lakers team. But everybody else, thank you very much, as always, to my co-host, Texas James Smith.
Yes. God bless you all, man. God bless you all.
The commission. Also, thank you very much for joining us tonight, Lewis. I don't know too much about you, but it was nice getting a chance to chat with you, talk league news, whatever. I know we went over a little bit, but I really appreciate you taking an hour and a half of your time tonight and discussing with us some EBA. And good luck to you this season.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate it.
Maybe you can come back when you make the playoffs and say, "See, Texas, count me out," and you can just totally throw it in his face.
Or you can be like, "I'm sorry, Texas, I didn't put you in the playoffs, preseason."
Yeah, there you go. You could be
not that I have a team or anything like that. Not assuming that I have.
I'm just saying, when he comes back and say, "Ha, I made the playoffs," I want to bring him back. So we'll get you back later in the season here.
You make the playoffs, you coming back. It's a lock.
It's locked. It's for you to rub it right in Texas James' face, like, "Ha, bitch, don't pick me. What's wrong with you? Don't ever count me out."
I will apologize, voice to voice, that I was wrong, sir.
So thank you, Lewis. Appreciate your time. To everybody here at the EBA, we appreciate everybody. Please, if you want to get signed up last minute, you better do it now. Get your tryouts in. Get going. I'm so excited. This is the season starting. This is the start. Let's go!
getting that kids getting down for Call of Duty. So, how long you been in the season? I mean, how long you been in the season?
My first season was at the end of 2K16, like with 2 seasons left of 2K16.
Oh, so you were a part of that. You were in there in that shitty ass All-Star season.
Yeah, that was so my first season was the season before that. I won.
Ouch.
I won with the Thunder. My first season just before that.
Was you on the front lineup or were you?